You've spent countless hours in the garage with your dad. Now investing in that old car and working on it with your son reminds you of him. And his legacy lives on. Fund your passion with a low-interest home equity line of credit from Bank of Blue Valley.
Oh, there you are, Scott. There you are, just drinking out of your Bank of Blue Valley cup.
Ooh, you know what? I can just smell the deals that are coming from the loans Bank of Blue Valley's doing because they're red hot. Kind of like your accessories today.
You know, this segment kills me every week because I'm in marketing, and this would be the worst product place marketing ever known to man if we weren't on purpose being cheesy, right?
No. I can't wake up and have a cup of coffee and close a deal unless I'm drinking out of this bad boy.
I mean, I love drinking out of the cups. I'm just saying the way you hold it up to the camera, you go like this. We're just going to work on it. That's all I'm saying. How are you?
Well, I mean, we already did a shameless plug with the commercial, and it sounds like our partner, Sean's voice, that we do all the prep work with Sean and Felicia. It's a very soothing voice.
It is a soothing voice. There's nothing better than somebody with good voiceover. We do a lot of voiceover work at work. And when we find someone, we do like auditions sometimes. Some people are just killer at voiceover. Have you ever done voiceover work?
That's not a bad idea for just like marketing, meaning like having a photo, like not a photo shoot, but a voiceover where everyone comes and tries out. And then maybe I bring a bunch of booze, maybe some Rieger booze or some Restless Spirit booze. And next thing you know, we throw a party and see who's got a good voice.
You know what? I'm going to give a LinkedIn tip here. I don't usually do this, but it just made me think of this. So pay attention and tell us hello if you're here. Are you watching from Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube? We're on all three now. And pay attention to my LinkedIn tip. And if you already knew this LinkedIn tip, let us know. But on LinkedIn, you will see on mobile, there's kind of like it's like a megaphone right next to your picture. Have you ever seen that, Scott?
Yeah.
That is where you can actually go in and record your voice. It's meant to say like what's your name, how your name is pronounced, because some people have, but I've seen a lot of people in marketing do really quick little introductions there. And it's great because you get to match a voice up with a name. So I highly encourage everyone to fill that out today after the show so I can go hear people's voices, and that might save us some on those auditions.
Wow, that's amazing. You know, I used to do that with a 1-800-COLLECT when I had no money, but you needed your parents to pick you up from the local movie theater. You'd be like, pick up town center.
Bring it up.
Your call is from.
Way to circle them back around. Hey, I'm super excited about our panel today. These are all your buddies.
Ooh, got some good people. We were talking a little real estate. Are we talking St. Louis? Or are we talking Kansas City? We don't know. Lots of good action going on.
All right, well, I'm going to do music and names. So are you ready?
Yeah, you built the show that you run it like on autopilot, which is so amazing.
Also, really quick before we start, mostly because my phone was ringing and I was hitting decline while I get this music ready. Bank of Blue Valley is feverishly hiring. If you are bilingual, they want to talk to you today. If you've been in commercial banking at all, they want to talk to you today. If you need intros, just let us know or go to bankbv.com. So lots and lots of jobs to be had over there.
Also, feel free to personally reach out to Aaron and I. We obviously love working with Bank of Blue Valley. So if you want us to connect you, we are not in the staffing business with them. We just genuinely want to connect. So we highly recommend them.
Hi, Janae. Hello, Brian. Oh, you're welcome. Matt, cool. Go do it. I can't wait to hear it. I think Matt and I met in person one time. Actually, I was going to lie. Hi, Angela. Hi, Delvon. So lots of people watching today. So we are totally getting ready to go. Are you ready, Scott?
Duh.
Let's do it. All right. I know. I just watched part of that Last Dance again last night. I really like it. All right. First up, I almost said to bat, and then it was going to be a bad sports joke, so I stopped. All right. We have Yoav. Second to the team today, we have Miss Liz. Third up, we have Haley. And last but certainly not least, and he joined us at the last minute, so we owe him huge, Nick. Now I zoom it out, and we're like a professional show here. Hi, y'all. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
We're excited to have you. All right. This is how we do it. We just jump right in. So, Yoav, who are you? What do you do? And how do you get to Kansas City?
Thank you. So I do many different things, actually, and it's all about connecting people, business, and technology. That's how I like to say. On my day job, I run global partnership for a company called Amdocs. It's a product and services company serving the telecommunication industry. We are about $4 billion revenue, 26,000 employees worldwide. And we work with all the brand names, obviously Sprint, T-Mobile, AT&T, and others. I have about 20 years of experience with Fortune 500 companies doing almost anything, like product development, project delivery, to account management, sales, strategy, and obviously partnerships. And I started as a coder many years ago, start from the ground up, climb my way through the corporate ladder, and I had a chance to build and lead team about probably 400 people and $100 million in P&L on the one hand, but I also do a lot of work with small startup, early stage startup, globally and internationally. And I really see myself as an entrepreneur at heart. And within the big corporate, I run what I call like internal startups, if you will. And one good example would be the Amdocs IoT product, what used to be called machine to machine, which I started, incubated, and sold all the way up to our CEO. Unfortunately, I didn't get the money for the exit of that one, but no risk, no gain. So that's that. Outside of the corporate world, I work with startups and entrepreneurs in different capacities as a mentor and advisor, sometimes on a pro bono basis, sometimes a paid gig. And in the past year and a half, I actually focused mostly on doing this here in KC. And I started on the Johnson County GMS and on Techstars KC, which is a lot of fun. And about 3 years ago, I founded KC Link, which is a very small grassroots nonprofit here in town, which mission is to connect the Kansas City metro area and Israel and vice versa. We help some companies to go to market, both from here to there and there to here. And I worked on a collaboration between UMKC and the entrepreneurship school to the Tel Aviv University, which also have a very big and well-known entrepreneurship school. And through all that, I actually became very passionate about connecting people, and specifically connecting what I call the unconnected. And being an outsider, I found out that there are many amazing people in town, many great talent, expertise, diversity. But a lot of those people, like myself, being one of them, are kind of hidden in plain sight. So we don't travel in the usual circles, and people don't know us, we don't know them. So it's just a shame. So I'm working on a pet project to see how we can fix that. And honestly, your show is already doing that every week in small pieces. So good to see you.
Yeah. So is that a Canadian accent that you have, or is that a Atlanta, Georgia accent? Where are you from? Who's your favorite partner to go walking around the lake with?
Walking around the lake. So originally from Israel, born and raised. And I moved here in 2008 with my wife and 2 boys. And we actually came in for 3 years. I was offered a position with our Sprint account. And it's been 12, I guess. So we just love it here. And even after I spent 5 years on Sprint, and I moved to my partner's gig and ran North America sales for partners and now globally, I could move anywhere. And they actually tried to convince me to move, but I just love it here. It's a hidden gem. It's an amazing place. We fell in love with Kansas City, and we literally chosen to stay. And speaking of Israel and on kind of the personal side, yes, one thing a lot of people don't know about me is many years ago, before I started the corporate world, I served in the army, in the Israeli army, and I was a tank commander, believe it or not. And I guess last but not least, I'm a musician or amateur musician, aspiring musician. I play guitar for as long as I can remember. And the past few years, I ventured into recording and production and some other stuff. So
well,
that's me.
I noticed you purposely did not answer the park question. So I will take that hint and I will move it along.
Wait, Aaron, what is the question? You're going to scare Yoav of what he didn't answer.
Who his favorite person to walk around the park is.
He would have said me, but he was too focused on giving a good answer. So.
I just thought that was good politics.
Giving me the look.
I thought you were just great at politics, Yoav. I really did. Well, thank you so much.
If there's one thing I suck at is politics, and I try to get away from it as much as I can.
Stay far away. Absolutely. Liz, who are you? What do you do? And are you in Kansas City?
I know you, Sky. I'm the outlaw of this group today. So my name is Liz Haberberger, and I don't live in Kansas City. So I actually live in I know it's like a bad word almost, but I live in St. Louis. So I'm on the east side of the state. So why am I on this call today? Because I own a business in Kansas City. So I work with Dale Carnegie. At Dale Carnegie, we do leadership development. And most companies have the technical skill they need in order to be successful. They often struggle to find and develop the right talent to meet their goals. So we don't touch anything. Yoav, you're impressing me with your coding ability. We don't do anything technical. We focus on those skills you need in order to work effectively together. So sales, leadership, management, communication, that's really where we focus. I've been in St. Louis my whole life. So I was born and raised here. I still live here. I've got 2 little ones. So mine are 4 and 7. And I've been involved with Dale Carnegie since 2015. So I came out of school and I went into education. I've always thought there's 2 things nobody teaches anyone. One is anything about money, like how big of a house should I buy? Should I put $10 Starbucks on my credit card every day? And the second, yeah, Nick, you probably appreciate that in your world. And the second, yeah, Scott, you too. And the second is anything about people. I've been really blessed to have 2 incredible parents who taught me the value of being able to connect with people and make friends and work together. And as I grew up, I realized not everyone had that. So I went into education thinking I could do that. Well, I couldn't. When you teach 4th graders, they want you to teach things like math and reading and writing, which is good, but not what I wanted to do. So I got out of that and got into Dale Carnegie, somewhat in the same realm, still education, still working with people, but all on that kind of soft skills. So I have a couple different roles. I am a trainer, so I'm a certified Dale Carnegie trainer, so I get to work with clients. Don't do that as often now. Most of my time is spent on the back end. So I love getting to work with clients. We've got a lot of clients here in St. Louis. We have a good amount of clients in Kansas City, and then we've also got some global or national clients. So I spend a lot of my time there. I bought the business in St. Louis in 2018. And just this year, a few months ago, bought the Kansas City region. So Dale Carnegie has had a presence in Kansas City for, I don't even know. I probably should know how long Dale Carnegie's been in Kansas City, but I don't. It's at least 50 years that they've been there. And we just took over the territory. So we just hired someone who's going to be the face in Kansas City. We can't tell you who they are yet, but we just hired someone who's going to be kind of the face over there. So we are really excited to build out a team. We've got a rock star team here in St. Louis. And so we're going to build a rock star team in Kansas City that we can like leverage all across I-70.
Congratulations on the hire. You'll have to have that person on the show.
I know. I've already thought about it.
So 2018, that wasn't that long ago. Your children were how old? You are in education. What are you thinking to yourself? I'm going to buy a business.
Oh,
how does
0%.
That thought process go?
Yeah, 0%. I didn't want to buy the business. In fact, I tried not to buy the business several times. Like the guy who owned it kept talking to me about it. And I was like, I can't do that. I'm 32 now. So I was, I guess 3 years ago, I was 29. My kids at the time were, I guess, 4 and 1, and I had zero interest. But the more I talked with him, the more, I love this business. He said, if you can find a business that you love and that you're good at, like you should stick with it. And so I love this business. I'm good in this business. And so he finally just broke me down, and I caved and realized that owning something is probably a good thing in the long run. So I had zero interest in doing it, but slowly but surely I kind of got some mind shifts, and here I am.
Do you plan on buying more territories?
Wow, I haven't even let the dust settle from this, Erin. Yes, I would love to have more territories. So pretty much any major city in the U.S. is going to have a Dale Carnegie office. We're in over 80 countries, so all across the world. I don't want to own any across the world. That'd be cool, but very difficult. So I would love to, at some point, either go north, east, south, something like contiguous to St. Louis, Kansas City. So someday I will get there.
All right, we are watching. Thank you so much for joining us. Haley, who are you? What do you do? And how do you are you in Kansas City? You're in Kansas City.
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, so Liz, we do really similar work. I'm going to have to hit you up after this and talk. Yeah, my name is Haley Grayless. I am here in Kansas City. So I own a business called Vaxa Collective. Now, Vaxa is a Swedish word. My dad's side is Swedish and proud. It means to grow. So I picked that because I help people and companies grow. So with my business, I kind of have 2 arms of it. And one side is organizational development, culture. So that's working with companies, usually on retainer, to help their overall culture, their leadership development, their team building. So overall helping with the accountability there and making sure they're more profitable and making sure people are productive and happy and engaged. So I started that side of the business mostly because I had a bad experience in a few different organizations. The last one I worked for was just pretty toxic. And so what I decided to do was, well, I'm just a person who has to get my hands dirty. So if something's bad, I have to go fix it. So I got a master's degree at Avila University, which is in South Kansas City, in organizational development, focusing on executive leadership. And so I launched my business in 2018 full time, and it has been growing, and I've started doing new things with it. So working with companies on those things that Liz talked about too. There are so many organizations that have people with these wonderful skill sets and education, and maybe they even have a great reputation, but people internally are not engaged. They could be miserable. And I'm just a big believer, the Enneagram 7, the ESFP, that kind of thing of you don't have to be miserable. Life can be so fun. And you don't have to dread going into work. And so I also started something called the Millennial Leadership Lab, which is a virtual group coaching program. And I would have never done that if it wasn't for COVID, because so much of everything had to just move from in-person to virtual. So I started a Facebook group. So if you're interested, that's called the Millennials Advancing Leadership Skills. So check that out. Although I'll be changing the name because so many people outside of the millennial generation. Hey, Amanda. Yeah, she's in my group. Glad you're here. I'm going to be changing that because there's so many people who are Gen Xers and Gen Zers who are interested. So I want to be more inclusive with generations. And so with that, I work through a 5-step framework with my clients, and it's just so rewarding. So it's the thing I love the most about work is seeing impact in people's lives and seeing them say, I'm growing in my confidence. I know how to make decisions more effectively. I can be more assertive, and I found my voice as a leader. I'm getting results out of people without making them miserable in the meantime. So it's really fun. And then I let's see. So I'm like, I kind of just wrote out my business model the other day and I'm like, what else do I do? So I also, so I moved to Kansas City because I had moved back from India. So after college at Mizzou, I moved to New Delhi. And like I said, I like to get my hands dirty. I'd heard so much about like oppression and the caste system and things like that. And I was just wanting to be able to help people in another part of the world. So I moved to New Delhi and lived there for about a year, found out how truly extroverted I am. And it was very hard to like not have a team there. So I don't know if anybody else has lived overseas by themselves, but it can be very, very challenging. So I loved the experience. But when I moved back to the US, I had to decide on where I wanted to land. And I had friends here in Kansas City from college who were expecting their first baby. And they were like, whatever, just move in with us for a while. So while I was job searching, had a house in Brookside. And so I lived with them for 4 or 5 months and just, cost free. They were such a blessing to me. So I wanted to move to Kansas City also because like I had a lot of friends here, but I knew that this city is just a place where people love it so much. There's so much like crazy pride and passion about KC. And I just like loved that anytime I came here and visited, it just felt like one big neighborhood where people were so like connected with each other and cared, and they just like pour so much passion into making this a better place. So I've loved it, and I've been here since 2012, and it's just been a wonderful experience. And I just really love this city and what I get to do to make people's lives better.
So Amanda, in the chat window, we have someone else requesting to learn about Haley's place where people can collaborate, but also Haley, we want to know about the show that you do and you host so that people that potentially would be interested in tuning in. So tell us about your show.
Yes, and Scott was actually just a recent guest in that. So I'd love to have people who are watching and people who are on here right now also be a guest. So I host a Thursday show at noon Central in my Facebook group called Millennials Advancing Leadership Skills. Again, so if you just search that in Facebook, you can find it. We'll eventually be changing it to probably the Revolutionary Leadership Collective, because I want to be more inclusive, but the mindset of people, I want them to have like revolutionary ideas and want to be big-minded and things like that. And so on that, I have leaders come on and talk about like what has differentiated them, what has given them more success as a leader, what tips do they have for other leaders in the world, whether you are in like a management role already or you're not. Like maybe you're aspiring to a management role and you know that you have leadership skills, or you don't feel like a leader and you want to grow in those skills and become more confident. Most of the people in my group coaching program, the Millennial Leadership Lab, are actually very introverted, and they're saying they want more confidence. They want to be able to like become more assertive. So it's interesting. It's a very like different person that's in the program currently than myself, and so it's been really fun. And so in that group, those lives, I also do some trainings. So sometimes it's a guest and sometimes I'm actually training on something. And we do have a free 5-day challenge coming up on June 14th through 18th. And that's just a 5-day challenge. And I'm going to walk everybody through my 5-step system. So you can check that out.
One, I'm going to encourage you to change your Facebook name right when we get off of here, now that you've said it on public platforms. Okay. I just have seen people try to grab those and then charge for them. And then 2, this is just a very personal question. While you lived in India, did you happen to learn how to do a sari?
Oh, good question. I never learned how. I had people like put it on me, like it was placed on me, but no, I didn't learn.
I have a friend.
You're asking for a wedding.
Yeah.
So
I wish I could help. Yeah,
Nick Schultz's cousin, good friend, is attempting to wear traditional Indian garb at a wedding, but we just found out that you're not supposed to wear it to the wedding, but you can wear it after the wedding.
He got permission.
So
he got permission from the father. He got permission from Shivani's father that Aaron knows. But the point is, if you're going to dress in another culture's garb for a wedding, do a lot of research.
Do a lot of research. And actually, there is an Indian wedding for the really close friends, so I have to dress for that one. So if you know people, I'm gonna hook up with you afterwards. So
man, I was
watching YouTube, and it's been hard. All right, awesome. Nick, who are you? What do you do? And how do you get to Kansas City?
My name's Nick Schultz. I'm a residential lender with Atlanta Mortgage, and I was born and raised here. So just went away for school and came back and stayed. So
prior to that, Nick, you knew
my story is not as impressive.
Other people, yeah, you didn't serve in the Israeli army. And
no.
But before you did that, you were very influential early on in my career in helping me connect to people. For you, kind of give everyone a little bit of background from after you graduated, how you've got into, I'll call it the moving dirt industry, because anything that's coming from the ground up, you and a lot of your peers and friends and contacts have a hand in. So give everyone an idea of after graduation, when you come back to Kansas City, what you got your feet wet in.
Yeah, kind of a little bit everything, but my family was in the grocery business here for years and ran a store in Independence, Missouri, and all that. It would have been a great experience for television. It was not something I wanted to be in for the rest of my life, and got out of that and ended up getting lucky and getting a job with Ken Block. Mr. Block gave me an opportunity in development when I had no real skills in that arena. And had to actually underline words on the first agenda of the meeting I was in because I didn't know what they meant. And so end up kind of working with him for a while, and then wanted to get into business development and left with his blessing, and ended up being able to kind of call him a client down the road. And so got in again, was in commercial development, then went to work for a general contractor and national general contractor and all kinds of different projects, all ground up, big industrial, multifamily, and then got out of that business last May. My wife is a realtor here in town, does pretty well. And I'd had the opportunity to get into lending for 4 or 5 years and then just kind of jumped at it, wanted kind of a fresh start and more time, I think, with my family and just the opportunity to kind of grow my own business.
And then your wife, what is her name? And then who does she work for? And then obviously she sells very nice homes, but just to give the audience an idea, how many homes is she typically selling in any given year? Because it's a lot to handle because you also have a big family as well. Yeah.
And so I work with a lot of realtors and they're all great. One of them is my wife. Her name is Lindsay Schultz, and she sells a lot of houses. I couldn't put a number on it. I think she did 48 million last year in homes in volume, and does a really good job and takes care of her clients. And so, yeah, that's who she is and what she does.
She's a big deal.
She does a good job. Yeah. But like I said, I work with a lot of realtors and they all do a good job. I mean, Alex Tomey, you introduced me to, obviously one of your good friends, is fantastic, and they're all good. If I could pitch them all, I would.
Yeah. It's unique in real estate where, I think, what it makes, and Nick, you've seen this in me, is my competition motivates me. I want to really stick it to them. Erin, she loves getting after people. But in real estate, you always have this sense of community because you could always be on the other side of the deal. And I think that's really important, something that a lot of other industries can learn from, because sometimes your competition is your best referral partner because they're talking about you more than anyone else. But in the real estate world, like, to get a deal done, you really have to meet in the middle. So there's really no sense in burning bridges. For you personally, what's kind of the most exciting thing that you get to do on a daily basis with this market in general? I guess let me rephrase that. Everyone probably talks to you and says, like we did before the show, tell us about how crazy this market is. What would you say the market's been like the last 2 weeks that people really may not realize, because they're probably telling you conversationally, hey, what's going on? But what is going on in the marketplace right now in real estate, residential wise, in Kansas City?
I mean, it's tough for buyers. If you're a seller, it's a great opportunity. I mean, I know people that don't need to be in their house and they've put it on the market and sold it in, 2 days for well over asking price. And they're like, this is great. For lack of a better word, to me, the market is constipated right now. You have people that want to move, but they don't want to move until they find a house. And because houses are so hard to find. And so they're not putting their house on the market because they don't know where they're going to go. And it's kind of blocked, for lack of a better word. And so it's just hard for people to find homes. And the ones that are out there are going, as we kind of said earlier, for over ask, and people are having to, sell off their firstborn child to get that house. And there's been a lot on Facebook. I put a post on recently about, kind of a joke on what all you had to do to get in the house. You don't even get to look at it. You know what I mean? You have to do a Facebook showing and it's 5 minutes at 1:15 on a Tuesday afternoon, which it's all, obviously a joke, but it's tough. And realtors know that, and it's competitive. And to Scott's point, realtors are doing deals when everything is equal. They're doing deals with people they like and people they trust, and that are going to make the deal easy and not, cause them a lot of grief, for lack of a better word, in doing that deal. And as a lender, you just want to, it's a lot of work for us because you got to be on top of it. A lot of pre-approval letters, be able to make sure you're not the reason that somebody loses a deal, because we're just a supplemental piece. We're not the most important piece in there. It's, just don't mess it up.
I have a girlfriend right now who is 8 months pregnant and 6 weeks in between the house she can move into and when she had to be out of her house. So living in an Airbnb with 2 teenage girls, 1.5-year-old, and she's 8 months pregnant. And that is what I think the market is like right now. Yeah.
If anybody needs to be able to drink wine, it's her. And you can't.
They're living their best Airbnb life. So right now.
Yeah.
Well, Nick, whenever I hear that a woman is that successful, I go stalk them online. So I looked up your wife, and right away, your family is one of those families that wears matching outfits on all the pictures. And I am just very impressed.
Wait a minute. I don't wear matching outfits. We don't.
Well, I mean, they all match. There's a color code.
Oh, well, yeah. Nick's a rebel.
Striped jumpers or something.
It's adorable, and I like it. And I'm very impressed she can do that while she's selling all these houses.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's look at this. Thank you so much for joining us today. First of all, Scott, you always get you've got your own little thing going on here. Nathan is just
coming on the show.
Scotty. Just you, Scotty. And then Angela says she's very impressed with today. So now, guess who's going to join us?
Who?
Who do you think?
Wendy?
She's here.
Wendy Reynolds, Bank of Blue Valley CEO?
She is here. Are you ready?
Where? Yeah.
Do you know it's actually not CEO? And I'm just going to say this because we now say it. Her title is actually president.
Yeah, I'm CEO, president.
It's all the same, but
Her Majesty,
on the video.
Whatever she wants.
She can be whatever she wants, but she's a big deal and she's here. So, Yoav, we're going to go right to you as soon as she's done asking her question, okay?
What does success look like for you as we exit the pandemic?
Wow, I have a few things. So, first of all, obviously, getting out of the house, going back to deal with people directly and not through squares, that'd be a great achievement by itself. And I'm really looking forward to getting back in the business and get things started. But I think the real success for me on the personal side would be in the middle of the pandemic, when I was tearing my hair out. I had a dream. I always wanted to learn another instrument. Actually, I want to learn all instruments, but you got to start one by one. So drums were always a dream. So my wife convinced me to buy a drum set, which I got into in the basement and started banging on drums, learning on YouTube. Doesn't go that well. So anyway, my dream is actually going back to taking lessons and learning drums, and also to maybe get this pet project of mine of connecting people in Kansas City and opening up the circles and having everyone, like as you said, Haley, and in the neighborhood, the community, really be a much more open one.
I love that. You have a very supportive wife if she encouraged you to buy the drums during the pandemic.
I have a very supportive, amazing wife. And by the way, I think she also went to Avila. I think you were there at the same time. Now I'm thinking about it. So small world.
It just gets smaller. The more people you meet, the smaller it gets. Well, awesome. How about you, Liz? What does success look like to you?
Well, now I feel like I gotta build off of Yoav and give a personal and professional success. I don't want to play any drums though. That's not in mine at all. So from a professional side, success coming out of the pandemic, especially over in Kansas City, is getting a team up and running. We've already got a lot of really good clients in Kansas City. I don't know if any of them are on here, but we've worked with many different companies. So success is getting the team up and running and then starting to create more opportunity in Kansas City to help companies there. On the personal side, I train for American Ninja Warrior. So that's my fun fact, Yoav. I don't do the drums, but I train for American Ninja Warrior.
How do you not open up with that every time you talk to someone?
Right, like you train for it to be on the show?
Well, I didn't want to intimidate you, Scott. I didn't want you to be nervous around me.
All of a sudden, next thing I know, I'm staring at the
I am staring at her arms too. I very much try to cover mine up, and I'm staring at yours. Yes.
Aaron and I are not we're not yoggers.
Well, that's okay. But yes, so I train for American Ninja Warrior, and I've got at least one. I've got one competition scheduled for sure this summer. I'll hopefully do a couple other ones. And so getting ready for those and placing in those, that's success.
All right, Haley.
What are you going to do?
There's a great gym here in St. Louis called Ultimate Ninjas. In Kansas City, there's Modus. So I don't know if anyone's ever been to Modus before, but when I come out to Kansas City, I'm there a decent amount. Someday, someone can take me to Modus and we can go hang out and have fun and spin around.
I will do happy hour with you afterwards.
Oh, come on, Aaron.
Well, one thing that's really cool to ask dads that have toddlers is if you ask them, be like, hey, have you pulled a muscle recently on the monkey bars? And they're like, what do you mean? Any dad with a toddler will know what that means, because you take your kid to a playground and you're now in your 30s and your body doesn't hold up the same way it used to, except if you're Nick Schultz, and you like, oh my gosh, ow. So the Ninja Warrior is the real deal. Congrats, Liz. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's different muscles than you think. If you're interested, if you follow me on LinkedIn, I do professional stuff, but on Instagram, @Haberberger, I post lots of ninja stuff if you want to follow me.
You as long as you promise I don't have to do it. But I'm going to follow you. I'm going to be very impressed with you. Haley, you got to follow that up. Sorry.
Yeah, I have to follow that. Man, I wish I was good at that stuff. Maybe I should check out this Casey version, novice style, like beginner version, fun run.
I love how you're doing the motions.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to warm up, I guess. So what does success look like for me? So I would really say keeping the momentum that I've been having, because I'm sure, I don't know if you guys traveled much during COVID. A trip a month would be nice. That's a little ambitious, but I didn't get to travel much during that. And so I want to be able to keep up the momentum that I have with business while blending it back in with those things that give me a lot of life, where I'm traveling a lot. And it was really nice because I actually just got back from Maui. So that was amazing. Yeah, it was pretty amazing. And so that was just a burst of refreshing energy that I needed. I felt so burned out for the past few months. And so I think success will look like me having a nice blend of those two things of rest and fun and adventure with growing my business and really making I want to be able to affect a lot more people's lives. So growing my group coaching program, growing my client list, and being able to also bring on more people as a bigger team too.
Maui, American Ninja Warrior, drums. What have we been doing, Scott?
I don't know. Schultz's
good luck, Nick.
Was good with that scruff. I don't know if it's that good to follow that.
All right, Nick. Sorry.
Yeah, would like to say I'm building a rocket in my backyard to go to Mars, and I'm almost done. But no, I would just like to continue growing my business. Looking forward to, honestly, socially be out there, concerts. I feel like I haven't been in a good dive bar, for lack of a better word. We can't cuss, but I was going to say blank hole dive bar would just be great right now. And just be able to be around my pals and do trips that we didn't get to do last year. Socially, I think that's important for me, is to give you things to look forward to. I know I tell my pals all the time, the reason that we age faster is because we don't have monumental things in our life. As you get older, it's like, well, this fun thing, I get to go to Maui, or there's that American Ninja Warrior concert or event, but they're like 2 months apart, where little kids seem like time slows down for them so much because they have all these little things. Like I went to the pool, I went to Davey's house. And so if we schedule more fun things and have more cool things to go do, we will age slower. Which I need more than anybody. So I just want to get back out to doing things and having fun stuff with my pals and growing my business. And with what I do, that kind of goes hand in hand, and being able to be in front of people helps that. So
when this is year one on your business and the market's this crazy, how do you usually, year one's the slower year for most people, and then they build up, but you probably have had a really good year. How do you follow that up? What's your plan?
It was great until December, and then all the refis dropped out. And I knew going into it that it really wasn't a good time to get into it, because I didn't have that big list of clients that I could call and just start refining them, back to back to back to back, just easy low hanging fruit. So once the refis dropped out, and then we have the market that we're in now, where first time home buyers are leaving. I mean, they're looking, and they got to renew their lease, and so they're dropping out. So it is challenging now. I knew it was coming. It would have been nice to have a standard spring market and to kind of make some hay. But you got to look at it as an opportunity, and count your wins, like you guys were talking about earlier, and grow my business with some good realtors. And Scott's been real helpful introducing folks to me. And again, being able to get out and be social will play a big piece in that.
Aaron, your friend Brian Schweitzer Nick is best friends with Brian Schweitzer. We call it a Nick Schultz rule. So whenever we come up with like a metric of like, okay, we're going to do this group, or we're going to build this concept out, we have a Nick Schultz rule where we don't care. Whatever Nick wants to do, he can do whatever he wants, because he's the type of person, no matter what room he goes in or conversation, he makes it better, and he's helping everyone. And so, I think it's only a matter of time, Nick, before you just are so busy you don't know what to do with yourself, because the more people get to work with you, the more they're like, man, that guy's so nice. I can't believe he helped me with that. Well, and so I'm just super excited for your business to grow, my friend.
Yeah. I feel like if Scott and Brian, you're going to get a lot of referrals.
Right. And be careful. I appreciate your eyes are brown right
now. Some
are
favors.
Hold it, Scott, but I appreciate that.
Scott, I wanted to tell you something that I haven't told you, and Liz made me think. If anyone wants a really good lesson in leadership, I actually have gone to Orange Theory now for 2 weeks in a row. And that place, they train their people so good, because I'm terrible at it. Liz, I'm terrible at it, but they make you feel like you're almost accomplishing something, and they're like, you are doing great, but let's also try this. And their way, however they're training their people, is so good at leadership and the culture of getting you like, oh yeah, I'm going to come back, because I have no business there. But if anyone wants a hardcore lesson on leadership and how to talk to people when they're not doing great, I would say maybe try at least that workout and work your way up to the American Ninja Warrior. Feels like American Ninja Warrior.
That idea for just, trying new things for leadership or empathy in other people is a great way to learn. And I'll tell you what, anything from Aaron, yourself, my wife, Julie, who waved at the camera when she heard Nick's voice, and to the president of Dimensional Innovations, I hear all the same thing when it comes to Orange Theory. So they're not a sponsor of the show, and we are not friends with the franchise owners. So that's an unsolicited offer.
I don't know anybody there except for the people that are supposed to be like telling you what to do, and then they make me feel good about me learning. And yeah, so I just thought about that, because I made it a big deal. I only like to drink, but I do work out a little bit. All right.
I'm glad that Bank of Blue Valley gave out really good PPP loans, because my worry was that folks like Orange Theory were going to struggle to stay in business. So, the fact that they're able to build community, and we're talking about them at 3:45 on a Tuesday in the spring, shows you that, from the government standpoint, it was good to step in and help these businesses during this pandemic, or else it would have not been good.
Would not have been good. And I would definitely not be being able to talk about it and as healthy as I am. So, okay, real quick, I want to squeeze this last question in before we get to your icebreaker. So everybody give us like a 1 or 2 minute answer. Yoav, what is a big win you've had during the pandemic? We love the optimism of this show. So what's a big win you've seen this past year?
Well, the past year, probably not the past year. I think the past year, if I would say a success, was a lot of very small successes, a lot of daily this and that. But if I want to take really a big win, unfortunately, I have to go to before the pandemic. And one thing I'm particularly proud of is a partnership I did with one of my partners called Creation. They're a small company out of Boston, and they're actually competing with with Salesforce.com, and they're relatively a tiny company. And we at Amdocs decided a few years ago to build an offering around them, so a competitive center, a service around the product. Long story short, we invested about $500,000, working for 2 years, and got like 0 deals. And the guys over the services decided that cutting their losses and moving out. And I feel strongly about the partnership, and I love the people. So I put on my startup hat and decided to do things differently. I took it upon myself and my team to run this business. We restarted it. I brought a dedicated SI out of India to be the implementer, and we worked with my team and their team directly to provide sales. And really, we created a top strategic partnership. Within 1 year, we had 3 deals around $3.3 million, and we had a pipeline of 8 more deals. A significant, very nice pipeline. And
I'd say that's a good win.
yeah, that's very good. And then, of course, the pandemic hit. So, but still, and that was also the first time ever, by the way, that Amdocs, which is very, very proud of our delivery capabilities, as our #1 brand in the market. And that's the first time ever we've done delivery with a non-Amdocs team. So,
Awesome.
that was
thank you.
Just before the pandemic hit.
Well, time to start it back up. All right, Liz, what's your?
Biggest win is coming to Kansas City. So we've had a lot of success here in St. Louis. I know, right? So ever since I came into the business in 2015, we have tripled the business in St. Louis, which is awesome. And we were knew we wanted to expand, but we weren't expecting it to happen this soon. So now getting to go over to Kansas City and do the same thing in Kansas City, scale that business up, that was a huge for us, and a challenge, a new market to break into.
Awesome. Haley, how about you?
Yeah. So I'd probably say starting the arm of group coaching in my program, because it was something I would not have ever considered, but I'm really glad that I invested the time and energy into building this community and then being able to pour into people in that way, so that I'm able to help people in leadership who aren't already in an executive role or something, actually helping people and getting more to the root of it. So as millennials and as younger, more fresh people in management and leadership move into more senior level roles and in executive roles or start businesses, whatever it might be, we're actually going to be improving the community workplace culture overall over the next few decades, because we're not waiting till it's too late. And so I love working with high level people, but also really preparing younger people who are going into these new roles now that people are retiring above, and being able to see them be prepared to take on those challenges and make the workplace a just much better place to be.
Awesome. I bet there's a lot of people that join too that probably wouldn't have before, because it's kind of shifted for everybody. So
yeah, everybody embrace this online stuff.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. I've been trying to say this for years, guys. Years, I tell you. Nick, how about you? What's a big win you've had?
I think just getting creative and being able to get folk approved in this kind of post-COVID lending arena. Restrictions on borrowers got so stringent, especially self-employed borrowers during COVID, that being able to get creative and find ways to get people approved and underwritten. I think figuring that out and being able to carry that forward was something that was kind of a win, and earned me some business And then I was lucky enough to be nominated and awarded a 5-star professional award, which is based on client reviews. So that's something, it is what it is. You win it so they can sell you advertisements, but it's still something that people chose me for. And it's good to be able to say that, because in my business, it's all about customer service. So those two things I would say probably.
Nick, I want to be your friend. I like that you just call things out.
My wife would probably disagree with you at some point in time and say, hang around longer, but I appreciate that.
Nick's the guy you want to hang out with, because, when you're at a party and there's someone that no one likes her, he's like, well, you're not very nice. That's not a very good thing to say. So he's the moderator of the, he's like, well, that's not very cool.
Anybody that calls out awards, Scott already knows. When you call them out for what they are, you're instantly one of my favorites. Okay, real quick, Joel, thank you for joining us and listening to us over on LinkedIn. We are now to Scott's very favorite part of the show. I'm pretty sure it's the only reason he shows up every week, so we can do this. The minute we started adding this to the show, his whole demeanor changed. It is his icebreaker question. So, Scott, are you ready? Are you prepared for this?
Yeah, I'm ready. But we got 10 minutes, so I kind of maybe want to do 2. So I'm going to go reverse order. We're going to go with Nick first, and then we'll work our way around. So you got to give us your favorite corporate. So sometimes when people talk about restaurants, we always talk about that hole in the wall, that place that you can only get it there. No, this is corporate. So for me, I'm an Olive Garden guy, because they got breadsticks, soup, and salad, and then they give me an entree, and then they give me another one. They're crazy and they're awesome.
It's no Applebee's though. It's definitely no Fiesta Lime chicken at Applebee's. Totally unfair. That's amazing. And then give me that $12 margarita at Applebee's that's got a ton of sugar in it. And now we're talking. There's a lot of lyrics and songs about, never mind. But you go with the really cheap alcohol, they're $1 during the summer. So I know.
Nick, favorite corporate guilty pleasure restaurant?
I'd say Outback Steakhouse. Outback Special and Bloomin' Onion and cheese fries. The bread. They got the bread that you like, Scott, and the salad that comes with the steak.
Yeah, one time I went to dinner at the Schultz's house. I wondered why the pasta was so good. Nick had been soaking it in garlic and butter. It was phenomenal.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So,
oh my God.
Haley, what is your favorite guilty pleasure corporate restaurant?
I hope this counts as a restaurant because it's more of like grab and go, but I freaking love Chipotle. So, I could probably have it once a week. I love it so much. When I lived in India, it was like the thing I missed the most. And when I moved back, it was like from the airport, we went straight to a Chipotle.
Yeah, shout out there, Kate. Someone just asked me about Katie Lord, Jen Nussback, and I just texted Jen Katie's information, and Grant Gooding texted me. So Proof is a wonderful company if anyone's looking for any research analytics. Liz, what is your favorite guilty pleasure corporate?
I'd have to say Smoothie King. I love their smoothies. Their Carrot Kale Dream is one of my favorites. I love Smoothie King.
I thought for sure you were going to say TGI Fridays because I feel like every time I visit St. Louis, there's TGI Fridays. Everywhere.
Interesting. I don't know if I've noticed that we have that many of them.
Well, we don't have any here, so I'm just jealous.
Nope. Smoothie King.
Yoav, what do we got? Give me a guilty pleasure corporate.
Corporate. So I have to go with Five Guys, I guess. It's a chain. It's fast food, but at least it feels much less greasy from everything else. Their burgers are great. Their fries are to die for. What's not to love?
That's a good one.
Nick, I'm going to go back to you. That we're going deep. We're going funny in the beginning, but now we're going deep. Do you think you've been more motivated to grow as a person because of a mentor or because of someone that you may have had a chip on your shoulder on, meaning they were an enemy, a competitor, someone told you couldn't do something?
And tell us who it is.
No, don't say who it is. But if you think to yourself, who has motivated you to succeed the most? Is it something that was a mentor that was guiding you in the right direction, or was it someone telling you you couldn't do it?
I think for me, it's mentors. You don't want to be driven by a jerk. You know what I mean? I think for me, it's mentors. And
Aaron and I are like, what?
Yeah, I think you look as you get older and you have kids, and it's kind of cheesy, but say being a good man, and it's hard. But like the guys that do things the right way, and you just notice that, and want to kind of follow in those footsteps, and you see guys do things, and you're like, man, that's a good way to do that. So I want to do things that way, and so it's picking the best parts of other people, and the more you get to know folks, there's more people that. My cousin Dominic Brancato would say are in the center of the bullseye. And those are the people you want to be around the most. And that's who you want to emulate as you kind of get older.
That's a great answer. So Haley, in your life, was it someone that was a great mentor that gave you your biggest leap, or was it someone that told you you couldn't do it?
I feel like I would agree with Nick. I'm more of inspired and motivated to grow as a person because of the positive things. But the reason I started my business and got a master's degree, so more of the professional side of it, the reason I'm doing this is because of those people who are doing it so wrong. And so such toxic leaders in organizations. Because I wanted to change that and make it better.
Liz, what about yourself? Was it someone that doubted you or someone that lifted you up?
Hands down, people who lifted me up. So I'm a firm believer in the Jim Rohn quote, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. I want to spend my time around the right 5 people. So hands down, mentors.
Yoav, what do you feel? Did someone doubt you or did someone inspire you?
I'm with Nick. I had a few great mentors, but I think that I learned the most and I grow the most from looking at others, whether it's leaders or peers, and actually from my employees and even kids, I probably learned the most.
Wow. Aaron, so I want you to go deep on this one. What about you? Or how many people?
Well, isn't everyone so PC on this show today?
Yeah, I know.
Right? So right before this, I always watched Netflix in the background on my computer when I'm doing client work, because I just function, all my ADD needs multiple things. And I was rewatching The Last Dance with Michael Jordan, episode 2. And I like to be like the greats, where Michael Jordan says he only became a good basketball player because his dad thought his brother was better and he wanted to prove him wrong. And so I kind of had a jerk mom. So I wanted to prove her wrong. And so 100% now it's when I see other people doing better, I'm like, I want to beat them out. I want to do this. I've got a ton of people that they very much lift me up. In fact, I've been working on reaching out to people and telling them remembering and gratefulness. But I am so competitive that I always kind of want to just prove that I can do a little bit better and prove people wrong. How about you, Scott?
I was waiting tables at the Blue Moose and I got my first big break at a big boy job. And I found out that I was in a generationally wealthy business, and a bunch of guys I went to college with made fun of me at the Grand Falloon. And I swore that I'd wake up every day at 5:30 and cold call my way out of it. And so I was inspired by people that doubted me. But I love being I love inspiring. But no, I was motivated because I didn't like that there was a joke that people were laughing at me about, and I didn't understand it. Now, everyone knows I love jokes about me where people make fun of me. But if I don't know what it's about, I'm like, what? When we're, so that was what bothered me. Is I was like, I got a good sense of humor. I could get the joke, but they were making fun of me, and that didn't make me feel good. So I got motivated by it.
The jokes are only okay when you make them on yourself.
Yeah,
nothing worse than when someone tries to make the joke you just made about yourself. You're like, hold up, and then when they're
that's my Applebee's and Olive Garden joke. All right, don't take it.
That's mine. Well, okay, look. Neil, I think Neil's with us. Neil at least will tell us he's with us, and I took it personal. Exactly. So
Neil.
There are some people that work like these for. Unfortunately, I need to know that I can beat you. And that is where we're going to end today's. We are so lucky that you all came. I kind of pulled these up a minute ago. Katie said, great group of people. Alex said she agrees, both former guests. We were so lucky to have you. I was going to say you are our first out of Kansas City guest, but actually, Liz, it's been you and Les Brown, the motivational worldwide speaker. So you're in good company, but
I will take it.
Yeah, take it, put it on a resume somewhere.
Ninja warrior and best motivational speaker of all time.
You're right in there. We highly encourage you to connect with all of our guests. They are tagged right here on LinkedIn. Nick will make sure we get you tagged, but connect with all of our guests. Remember, they would love for you to reach out. They would love for you to refer them. They took their time today to tell us about their experiences. And we are looking forward to seeing you next week. Same time, same place. Thank you to our guests. Thanks, Scott, for joining us. And thanks for Bank of Blue Valley. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.